You read the title correctly. 14-day worse than standard American diet experiment. So after the last 14-day cycle me and the group went through where we just tried to lose as much weight as we could, eating as healthy as we possibly could in 14 days, I had lost a total of like 7 pounds. And it felt good, don't get me wrong. But I'd been wanting to see exactly what would happen after being keto carnivore for over 3 years and closer to 4 years, and struggling so much to get past that 147 to 150 pound loss range. It seems like all of a sudden, a lot of the fruition came true that a lot of people say after you've been doing these low carb diets or any kind of diet for so long, your body ends up adjusting to it. No matter what you do, it just doesn't seem like it doesn't want to let things go. You dig into the ingredients, you try to figure out exactly where things fell apart. Am I getting some kind of carb creep? What is exactly going on with why I'm not losing weight anymore? Why do I have to keep resulting back to fasting every single day just to lose weight? And although fasting is probably the best tool for losing weight, it's not the only tool for losing weight. And, no matter how much I tightened up my diet, it just seemed that things were getting crazier and crazier. I just was not losing like I wanted to. And I said to heck with it. I seen another member comment on the group that, let me clean this lens real quick. I seen another member comment here on the channel, not the group, and they said something along the lines of they went back to the standard American diet or eating carbs for 30 days, and all of a sudden they went back to losing weight like crazy. Um, it was one of those things that always crossed my mind. I wanted to see what would happen. I haven't done anything like this in almost 4 years. And then to follow that up, I said maybe I could get some labs done to see how it affects my normal labs on keto carnivore. My labs are really, really good. I'm talking LDL, HDL, triglycerides really low, all my levels of, creatinine and stuff like that all in check, no liver, no kidney problems, no none of that. What would happen if I just went straight 14 days of standard, worse than standard American, and just ate fast food every single day? I'm talking Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, McDonald's, whatever I wanted for 14 days straight, as much as I wanted for 14 days straight, and try to gorge and just eat massive amounts of fast food to see what happens. So literally, there were times where I would stop at Wendy's and say, "Give me 30 spicy chicken nuggets," and I would eat all 30 spicy chicken nuggets. Or I'd go say, "Give me 20 spicy chicken nuggets, give me a large fry, and a double stack or something like that." And when I get home, I'd sit down and watch a movie and slowly eat this stuff over the time of watching the movie. And the first 7 days of doing this, my body was responding accordingly. I mean, I did get a little bit of a headache at first, but I adjusted right out of it. I didn't gain any weight the first 7 days. The first 7 to 8 days, I gained like no weight at all. The scale wasn't going up. Actually, it went down about a half a pound. But then into the second week of doing it consistently, by that like ninth day, all of a sudden I started seeing the weight increase. It went to 9 pounds, then 10 pounds, or not 9 pounds, then 10 pounds. I get 3 pounds, then 4 pounds, and then by the end of the second week, by the end of 14 days, I gained a total of 8 pounds. Everything that I lost the 14-day period before I gained all back. And I thought, you know what, maybe try some kind of a reset. So the 14 days, it was rough because I started obsessing over the food that I was going to eat the next day. I started getting really pulled in by the different types of fast food available and how easy it was, and not having to clean dishes and stuff at home, and staying at work later and making excuses why I didn't have to go home to make that clean meal because I could just run next door to Wendy's and just grab a couple burgers and be done, and work until 9 o'clock at night. Just get all this overtime and stuff. So I thought, why not? It's the perfect match for an experiment. But it became like I was getting drawn in by this deeper and deeper. Like it wasn't that bad, especially seeing that the weight was not increasing the first 7 to 8 days. It was almost like I was giving myself an excuse to continue doing it, knowing that it wasn't good for me, knowing that something was going to happen. By day 6 and 7 of doing it, I had noticed that there was a lot of pressure in my sides, and I almost felt like going to the bathroom every single day. It wasn't just normal movements anymore. It was like I was almost having to force myself and push and strain myself really hard to get everything out. There were some times where I couldn't stop going. I'd sit down to go, and it was like Instead of the normal 5 to 10 minute movement and be done, well, probably 5 minute movement and be done, I was sitting there for 10, 15 minutes. And it was like I'd think I was finished and then start going again. Think I was finished and then start going again. And I was literally full of all this backed up junk that was inside my body from what I was eating. Um, Sleep was fine. No headaches, no energy problems, no nothing like that. But the pressure in my back, my lower back down, like where you'd grab yourself if you had low back pain or something like that, the pressure down there was just crazy uncomfortable. Like I was getting backed up with, maybe my organs having to function too much. Maybe it was just backed up with so much junk in my digestive tract, whatever it was. It just felt absolutely terrible. But I knew I had labs coming up, and I wanted to see over the last 4 years, my labs with keto carnivore have been consistent. They've been very good every single year, almost spot on, the same thing, if not getting a little bit better each year. Well, now it's that time again for labs. Why not shake things up a little bit and see how just straight junk food affects my body now as opposed to how it did before when I was doing it? And I just want to see the difference. So I have a doctor's appointment coming up to get the lab work done, or read the lab work here in the next. I think it's like within the next week. I'll sit down with her and we'll go over the results and I'll post them and stuff like that. But people have been asking me to cover how I felt over this period. Other than the low back pressure, I didn't have a problem at all. I didn't sleep bad. What I feel like bothered me the most was the draw to figure out when that next meal was going to be, or when was the next time I was going to be able to stop and get that Whopper, and just that massive amount of flavor and stuff going on. What's going on? How are you? Um, and with me getting so tied into and becoming obsessed with the next meal, it got to the point where I knew that I had to quit. I could not continue anymore. So the 14-day experiment ended. And I'm lucky that I'm one of the ones that really grabbed keto and carnivore by the horns and said, this is always going to be the way that I eat. But if I choose to go off of it, I'll be okay. And I know that I've gained enough strength and discipline to know. I ate everything. There's no question about what I didn't eat. I think or what I did eat. It's more along the lines of what didn't I eat. I ate every single thing that you can possibly find at a fast food joint for almost 14 days. And that's exactly what I lived off of every single day, multiple times a day, and ate massive, massive amounts of it. So, and it was just basically my digestion was falling apart. That's what it was, and the pressure in my low back. It wasn't so much that I was gaining weight, because I could have pulled back and controlled the weight gain. It was more along the lines of what was this pressure, what was the digestion was just completely out of control. Um, that was the worst part about it, were those things. And uh, I just I'm glad that I can say, okay, experiment is over, move on, and go back to my clean eating and be done. There's a lot of people that cannot do that, and I think that's why it's okay for me to do these experiments, because a lot of people are curious and interested to see what happens to somebody that has been doing keto or carnivore long term. Can they control it? How does it affect them? Will you be able to do the same thing eventually, like I am now, to have that discipline to say enough is enough and quit and move on? I can go out right now and sit down and eat pizza and lasagna and everything else, and then tomorrow wake up and not have no craving, no aftermath effect of it at all, because I've been doing this so long. I don't even have the lethargy and the hangover effect like most people do. I've been doing keto and carnivore so long now that I can have regular meals like everybody else, um, and then absolutely have no problems at all. Yeah, so we next Tuesday we start a 30-day challenge of health and weight loss, and basically it's $200 involved. I have started a small group on Facebook, and we just did a 14-day challenge. I gave away $100. It was $50 to the number one person. Number two got 30, number three got 20, and then we just finished another 14-day one recently, just a couple days ago. An air fryer, a pressure cooker, um, and what was it, some kind of kitchen set. And now we're going into Tuesday, which I will be joining. There will be no more experiments for the rest of the year. I'm experimented out. I don't want to do any more experiments. I've tried enough experiments over the last few months where I just I want to move on past that and just stay clean for a while. I just started going back to the gym real heavy with one of my coworkers last night, and I want to continue to pursue that and see how that changes my body and kind of get back into some of my more powerlifting, bodybuilding style routines and really focus on my physique and trying to lose the rest of this weight and hoping that this 14-day shakeup really did do something for me, because just in the last 2 days of quitting it, I've already lost 4.5 pounds of the 8 that I gained. So I'm hoping that maybe that did shake things up, and maybe I'm just gonna drop like crazy now, and let's see what happens. Just to throw things off and just try to do like a reset kind of deal. You'll find that after doing this for a while, some things just don't work for some people. You could go as clean as you want. You can keep out all the maltodextrin and artificial sweeteners. You can try to knock all that stuff out and then see that, man, this is still not working for me. You can try to go carnivore and eat all the red meat and stuff you want and just eggs and bacon fast and stuff like that, and it's still not work for you. And then you have to resort to, full-fledged water fasting to actually knock the pounds off. And, ideally it shouldn't go to that, but sometimes it does. And then sometimes, like the one lady, I think her name's Kelly on here, she said she just went straight 30 days back to the standard American diet and then went right back into keto and carnivore. And then all of a sudden the weight just started falling off of her. And she didn't gain but like 5 pounds the 30 days that she was doing it. So it's just a matter of different body types. Different body types, different needs, different ways your body adapts to things. The longer you do something, your body will become used to it. It's just, there's a number of ways to approach this. And this 14-day experiment, it was fun, it was very tasty, but at the same time, I really feel like my digestion and the pressure in the bottom of my back by like day 5 and 6, 7, somewhere around there, it just wasn't worth it. It was very, very, very uncomfortable. And I'm glad that I'm done. I'm glad that I'm back at clean eating and going to the gym and all that stuff. And I can't wait to see what my labs yield or show up and go from there, basically. So stay tuned for that. A couple people asked me to cover this last night, and I just couldn't get around to it. I had worked late and then went to the gym and then went home and went to sleep after I cooked my steak, egg, and sauerkraut meal, and went straight to sleep after that, and then woke up this morning, got back to work. So I didn't even get a chance to cover it last night. So I apologize for those of you that asked me to cover it last night. I'm doing it right now on my lunch break. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know, is there any other experiments after the new year that you'd like to see somebody try? I have a keto brick from Keto Savage coming up. If you guys haven't checked them, ketosavage.com, or look up Google actually keto brick. It's a 1,000-calorie brick. It's supposed to be something like a meal replacement, really clean ingredients. A couple of people have been asking me to cover that because they know when it comes to the ingredient stuff, I'm brutally honest. I don't care if it's a friend of mine or they're getting paid by somebody, or I'm going to mess up their sponsorship or whatever it is. If I see something that's garbage, I call it out and I tell it exactly like it is. So I got a feeling that his product is going to be very, very clean. A lot of people have said it's clean. So that's in the mail. It said it already shipped, so that'll be here soon. I'll be doing Keto Savage's Keto Brick review soon. And then I want to try Keto Chow to see how it tastes, because I've been thinking about pure fat fast. I think it can work. I think a fat fast can work because you're not really attacking your insulin levels and your blood sugar's not going up. But if fat, let's look at it. Let's back up for a second here. Whenever you ingest something that has taste, it doesn't matter what it is, your body prepares itself for food. It's called a cephalic insulin response. Even though fat does not increase blood sugar, it detects, okay, I'm eating something calorie wise. The sweeter, the more response I'm going to get. I need to start preparing enzymatic response in my stomach. My brain is detecting that I'm going to eat something that I know is calorically dense. The sweeter it is, the more flavor it has, the more my response is going to be. So cephalically, my dopamine release is going to start a enzymatic response in my stomach, which is going to prepare my body for ingesting calories, which certain amounts of insulin, no matter what you do, this is where the keto people and a lot of the keto doctors just get it completely wrong, because they don't want to get this deep into it and confuse people. No matter what you eat, your body is going to prepare itself, even the smallest amount, with insulin. Now, when there's no blood sugar increase, insulin doesn't have that job, right? Insulin still has a purpose elsewhere with other hormones and stuff like that, which we don't cover. I think it's the reason we don't cover that is because people don't want to get other people so confused. They think keep the blood sugar low, insulin levels low, all of a sudden you're going to get healthy. Well, that's not necessarily the case all the time. So fat fasting can work for some people, but it doesn't actually work the way people think it does. You still have to ingest those calories. Now, if you ingest so many calories, just like Dr. Jason Fung says, more than 50 calories, he thinks your fast has then been broken. Now, can you lose weight off of that? Sure you can. Absolutely. I've seen people take beef chunks and actually cook it down or fry it up as like little treats and stuff like that, and they have had no problem at all. I appreciate that, by the way. And they lose weight off of it. So it can be done. But if you're going to fast, and forgive me for saying this because I'm a little bit more military style when it comes to this. If you're going to do something, do it. If you're going to fast, throw some salt and water together or something like that, or maybe a little bone broth like some people do, and just do it. Just fast. But fat fasting normally is not incorporated with just like bulletproof coffee fasting. Bulletproof coffee fasting, to me, there's a number of things that are getting mixed up here. Not only are you putting saturated fats in your coffee, now you're drinking coffee. Coffee by itself will raise your triglyceride levels. It's been shown, the two keto docs especially did it, they drank black coffee. They had a higher ketone rise off of black coffee, pure black coffee, than adding fat that actually buffered the effect of the ketone rise. Yes, you're getting fat that controls your appetite, but that doesn't mean higher ketone levels. When they drank black coffee, they noticed that they actually went from like, say, 0.8, 0.9 millimolar on their ketone meter to like 1.1, 1.2. But when they drank bulletproof coffee, yes, their satiation levels were great, but the ketone rise wasn't there. So there's a pro and a con to a lot of this. Now, a lot of people that drink coffee don't realize it actually brings up your triglyceride levels while you're doing that, and we don't want that. But a lot of people are affected in that manner. It could be temporary. A few hours later, all of a sudden it's back down again. So it's a matter of what you want. Bulletproof coffee fasting, I've seen people do and be very successful. Do I think it's a good idea? No, I don't. I think if you're going to fast, go ahead and fast. Get the full autophagy effect from it. Get the full effect as your bodies, your good parts of your cells eat your bad parts of your cells and regenerate a lot of that cell growth, the stem cells or whatever it is that we talk about. They get rid of that psoriasis, that eczema, things of that nature, skin tags, little skin conditions that may be affecting you. Work on your digestive system while doing that. But to say I want to add calorically fat into my body while I'm fasting and expect to get those same results, you won't. It's not going to happen. If you want to get weight loss results, you probably will see that. But the fasting effect to its full form, it's probably not going to be there. I can't speak for everybody. I personally think, from my experience and my time working with people, you're not going to see that full effect. So if you want the full effect, the broad spectrum from A to Z of what a fasting protocol does for you, and it's not just weight loss, fat fasting would not be an option. If you're just looking to lose weight and you're not so focused on the overall healing effect, sure, bulletproof coffee fasting, beef chunks where you can fry it up and cook it up, or even pork skins, for God's sake, pure fat, that stuff could be fine. But I mean, pork skins, and then in a sense, sometimes you'll see stuff with higher protein levels than others. So pork skin would probably be a poor choice. Even though it's almost pure fat, it does have some protein base to it. I don't know, that's a tough one. I get myself in trouble for telling people to do it or not do it, because now people are so sensitive about everything. If I say no, that's a terrible idea, and say what's really on my mind, you got the snowflakes that come out and they, oh, I'm unsubscribing from your channel. So bulletproof coffee is not bad to have, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people say, a lot of experienced keto people will tell you, for the first 6 months when you're trying to get adjusted and have your bulletproof coffees and stuff like that, maybe 3 to 6 months. I usually tell people when they start out with me, for the first 3 months, it's not a problem having that. I would start tapering myself off and then cut that stuff out, because now you're just drinking calories in fat form. You know, you might hear Dr. Berry try to tell his audience, because he has to tailor himself as the popular keto doctor, oh yeah, bulletproof coffee's fine and this and that, everything else. But when you look at somebody that's been doing it since 1980, Dr. Eric Westman, the longest running ketogenic doctor we have right now, along with Dr. Stephen Feeney and Dr. Jeff Volek, you're not going to hear them say drink liquid fats in your coffee. If you look at lipid profile guru Dave Feldman, you're not going to hear him say drink fat in your coffee. Why would you drink your fat? You need to eat your fat attached to your protein sources in its most natural form, or eat it with your steak at night for dinner. But to eat it as a breakfast item or a appetite controlling item, you just need to focus on eating more real food and not so much mixing it in with your drinks and things like that. So that's another thing that I've always gotten in trouble for, is because I've always told people, look, have your bulletproof coffee as a treat every once in a while, have your fat teas and stuff like that as a treat every once in a while. But if you're drinking that first thing in the morning when you get up, you're not doing yourself any service by doing that. You're just listening to mainstream keto people out there tell you that this is okay and this is going to help you and this is good for you. Dave Asprey got yeah, Dave Asprey is the one that created the bulletproof coffee. He's the original creator of it here in the United States, but he's not the original creator of bulletproof additives or fat additives in liquid. Just to cover it real quick, now that Scott brought that up, is Dave was hiking in the mountains of Tibet, and he noticed that the Tibetan people were drinking a tea with yak butter in it. That tea was a caloric need for them while they were out in frigid temperatures working and stuff, and it's not even something that they had all the time. It was a way for them to keep their calories up. It was a way for them to be outside working. It was a way to help keep them a little bit more warm and, you know, to keep going so they could get their work and stuff done. They had to get things done outside in frigid temperatures, and that was a great way to sustain that in those temperatures. But it's not something that they would consume all year round. It's not something that they would use every single day throughout, and it had to be something that was part of their diet. There was a purpose for it. He saw that as a business and as an entrepreneur, came back to the United States and said, well, why not market this here if it doesn't do anything to your blood sugar and your insulin levels? Why not use it as, you know, some kind of bulletproof keto, bulletproof diet or whatever? I mean, it would be great. People would go crazy over it. That's kind of how it was born. It never really had any real science behind it when it was originally created. There was no real science. It was just a man that watched somebody else do it, got an idea, and thought, ding, 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 bells and whistles, dollar signs going off. Here we go, back to the United States. Let's get this thing created. And then it just kind of took off. It went hand in hand with keto, carnivore. I mean, Dave kind of was ahead of the game by creating his own type of diet off of it, but keto has always been out, and it just fit with it. So it was a great way to market the product, but there was no real science put behind it. And you're going to hear a lot of your friendly 30,000 keto people subscribers on certain channels where they're dumping cinnamon and dumping dolce and dumping all these sugar-free items and stuff in there, because that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the frou-frou stuff. They want you to give them all the good golden stuff so they can just dump that shit in there and just Charlie Mike, Chief, and just say, hey, I had a great bulletproof coffee this morning. Yeah, what'd you put in your bulletproof coffee? Oh, I put some maltodextrin in there, I put some aspartame in there, I put some sucralose in there, I dumped a bunch of red 40 and yellow 50 and stuff in there, and when you break it down, that's exactly what you're doing. But we don't look at things that way. We look at it as, oh no, it's sugar free, it's bulletproof coffee, let me go ahead and dump my 16 ingredients in there in the morning and go about my day. No. And then when I talk openly and honestly about it, people are like, oh, You can't take my bulletproof coffee away from me. Dr. Berry said it's okay. Well, Dr. Berry said a lot of things were okay because he has to tailor to 500,000 subs. But Rich doesn't have to do that because I don't make money off keto, and I don't make money off people that do keto. I make money off of a living as an automotive mechanic, so I've got nothing to hide. That should tell you exactly where the information comes from in an unbiased, untainted kind of way. He has to give to his crowd what they want. I don't. Bulletproof coffee is not what it's all cut out to be, and fat fasting is not what it's all cut out to be. If you want to fast, fast. If you want to eat real food, eat real food. But to throw all this junk in your coffee because Sarah's keto journey does, and she's lost 60 pounds and been stalled out for 3 years doing the same thing, and that's something that you resonate with and you want to keep following, then maybe you're following the wrong person. Anyhow, my lunch break is coming to an end, and I need to get back to work. But I wanted to share with you guys my 14-day experiment, and labs will be coming soon, so I can let you see the outcome of what 14 days of the trashiest food that you can possibly have ever ate affected me after being keto for 4 full years. Now let's see if that resets my weight loss journey, and then I'll have some pictures and stuff coming up over the next few weeks of my new gym journey and back to clean eating keto and stuff like that, and see if this 14-day fiasco actually reset me and gets me moving in the right direction. So I will holler at you guys later, and thank you again for being here. And if you want to be part of our 30-day challenge, it starts next Tuesday. You too. It starts next Tuesday. We do have our own little chat group. There's no Facebook group you got to be involved with or anything like that, unless you want to. Under the description of each one of my videos, I always put where my groups are, in case you want to be in one of them, extra support or something like that. Just meet some people, talk to some people, get some ideas, whatever it is. But we have our own little Facebook chat group where people just check in and just kind of talk to each other, give each other ideas and stuff like that. And we'll weigh in. I'll give you a code word. Maybe it's the color blue or something like that, and you'll put the color blue on the scale when you weigh in. You'll take a picture of it so I know that it's you and it's current, and we'll weigh out. And I might give you something that says water, and you'll actually write the word water down on a piece of paper or on your foot or something like that, and you'll jump on the scale and you'll take a picture to weigh out, and then give me a few days. We'll get all the weigh-ins together, and then we'll figure out who wins $100, who wins $50, who wins $60, whatever it is, yada yada yada. But it'll be fun. It starts next Tuesday and goes 30 days. So if anybody's interested, I will post the link below to my Facebook group and the chat group. And if you don't see it, leave a message in the comment box below that you want to be involved, and I'll get it to you, and I'll share it to you privately. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.